let's do some kirtans before we start the session. All right, so here we are. We are going live on YouTube, and I welcome all the devotees also who are going to join on YouTube. So let's begin with short kirtan, and all of you can participate in a lead and follow format. So, Sankirtan Mahayagna ki Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
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 Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari
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 Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja
Yashodanandana
Jana Ranjana
Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja
Yashodanandana Vraja
Jana Ranjana
Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Sankirtan Mahayagna ki
Jai.
Mantra Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai
All right, I welcome all of you once again for the 48th session of the Bhagavad Gita Study Circle. So we have Hina Mataji also, let's add, and we have Vinod Chandanji also. All right, great. And Dave is also here. All right, so We have covered almost about 38 shlokas of chapter 4. And we have discussed in depth about so many beautiful concepts that Krishna has shared in this chapter. And some of the glimpses I'm sure that you're going to share with all of us here today, because I had given some activity for all of you. So at the later part of the session, I'll get some insights from your perspective also. That's very nice. So in the previous session, we discussed that how this particular jnana, this transcendental knowledge, was compared to a boat, plava, and it was also considered compared to fire, jnanagni, dagda karmani. So we understood that how this transcendental knowledge is like a boat which takes you away from this material world. It floats on this material world and takes you to the other side, to the spiritual world. At the same time, this is also called jnanagni because this knowledge of fire, this fire-like knowledge, will burn all your papa karma. It makes you pure. So and now Krishna is going to explain further. It's very interesting, and we are almost in the last section, and we will be completing chapter 4 today. So today we are going to complete chapter 4, and the next session will be chapter 5, and again a very interesting chapter. So as usual, we begin the prayers with the invocation prayer. So let's start the invocation prayers and chant them, and then start the session. All right. So, as usual, we have this session dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, my beloved spiritual master. So, all of you kindly join your palms and please repeat after me. So, that can be possible. Please repeat. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale
Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta
Swami Niti Namine
Swami Namaste
Namaste Saraswate Deve
Namaste Saraswate Devi
Gauravani Pracharine
Gauravani Prachari
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi
Nirvishesha Shanyavadi
Pashyat Deshatarine
Pashyatati Satarini
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabhu Nityananda
Prabhu Nityananda
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Shri Advaita Gadadhara
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Namo Mahavadanyaya
Namo Mahavadanyaya
Krishna Prema Pradayate
Krishna Prema Pradayate
Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya
Krishna Krishna Chaitanya
Name Gauratvishe Namaha
Name Gauratvishe Namaha
Namo Brahmanya Devaya
Namo Brahmanya Devaya
Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha
Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha
Jagadhitaya Krishnaya
Jagadhitaya Krishnaya
Govindaya Namo Namaha
Govindaya Namo Namaha
He Krishna Karuna Sindho
He Krishna Karuna Sindhu
Deenabandho Jagatpate
Deenabandho Jagatpate
Gopisha Gopika Kanta
Gopisha Gopika Kanta
Radha Kanta Namostute
Radha Kanta Namostute
Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi
तप्त कांचन गौरांगी
राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी
राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी
वृषभानुसुते देवी
वृषभानुसुते देवी
प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च
पतितनां पावनेभ्यो
पतितनां पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
हरे कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा
हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण
कृष्णा हरे हरे
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
हरे राम हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे
राम राम हरे हरे
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. Hare Krishna. So this is a very interesting part and a very interesting shloka that we're going to discuss today, and that is verse number 39. So without much delay, let's start the verse number, chant the verse number 39, and I call upon Achyutanji. You can unmute yourself and let's chant this verse number 39. So I hope the screen is visible to you. So let's chant this particular shloka. So Achyutanji, you are ready? Okay, let me see if I have to add him to the screen. Maybe sometimes it just, yes, I think now you should be able to chant. So Achyutanji, I think the screen should be visible, and yeah, I think
it is
you're
visible. It is.
wonderful. Great. So let's chant this particular shloka. Shraddhavan labate jnanam
Shraddhava labate jnanam
tatpara samyatendriyah
tattara samayeshendriyah
ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम्
jnanam labdva param shantim
अचिरेणाधिगच्छति.
achirena nigajjati.
Wonderful. Please read the translation by yourself.
A faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses quickly attains a supreme spiritual peace.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So here in this particular word, Krishna is saying, Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparas sammitendriyaha jnanam labdva param shantim achirena adhigacchati. So Krishna is talking about a faithful man who is absorbed in transcendental knowledge. So we have understood what is transcendental. Transcendental means that which is above the three modes, sattva guna, rajoguna and tamoguna. Anything above that and beyond that is called transcendental. So this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita is not subjected to these three gunas. It is beyond these three gunas. It is beyond sattva, rajas and tamas. It is transcendental. It is spiritual knowledge. And because one who is absorbed, a faithful person who is absorbed in such transcendental knowledge, he can very nicely subdue his senses. Now we have five senses which are running in different directions, always hankering for so many different things. But yet, when you get this knowledge, transcendental knowledge, these five senses, this knowledge acquiring senses are controlled. And then, achirena adhigacchati. Achirena means very quickly you attain the supreme spiritual peace. So let's dive a little deeper into this particular shloka. So we have understood in the previous sessions that how this whole Bhagavad Gita is called the Yoga Shastra. Every chapter, 18 chapters that we have, every chapter is actually a yoga. It ends with yoga, right? So this is also Jnana Yoga. So now we should understand yoga means to link, to connect. Link what? The Paramatma with this Jivatma. That linking process between Jivatma and Paramatma is called yoga, right? So, even in the previous Gurukula system, the education system, when they used to teach mathematics, actually they used to say yoga for addition and viyoga for subtraction. Even now, when you go to the some English, Hindi medium or Kannada medium or Marathi medium, sometimes in the Marathi textbooks you will find they don't call it as addition and subtraction. They call it as yoga. Yoga means addition. Viyoga means subtraction. So right now our condition is we are in the Viyoga state. We are disconnected from the Supreme Lord. We are all spirit souls. We are part and parcel of the Supreme God. But now, right now, we are disconnected. So we are in the Viyoga state. Now, when we understand Bhagavad Gita, what is happening is we are reconnecting. We are adding ourselves along with this Supreme Lord. That connection is called yoga. So this is very important to understand. So Krishna is saying here in this particular shloka, if you carefully see, Tatparaha, Tatparaha Sammitendriyaha. So what is this Tatparaha? Tatparaha means, Prabhupada literal translation is very much attached to it. So Tatparaha means we should know and understand that it is not acquiring knowledge like the bookish knowledge that we acquire in the schools and colleges. It's not that you have to become a bookworm. Tatparaha doesn't mean that, okay, I will read Bhagavad Gita end to end, all the 18 chapters, 700 shlokas, and I will become master. I will be able to do all this by heart. That doesn't mean Tatparaha. Tatparaha means you know the knowledge, Jnana is there of Bhagavad Gita, but you also apply that in your life. That is Vijnana. So only Vijnana gives you realization. So when we say Tatpara Samitendriyaha, if you want to really become peaceful, it's not that simply by acquiring knowledge you will become peaceful. It may give you some peace, but only when you apply this knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita in your life and implement it, that is when you become free. You will become free from all anxieties. And that is when that supreme spiritual peace is attained. Otherwise, it's not possible. It is not so easy. Samitendriyaha. And this particular Shraddha, Shraddhaval Labhate, Krishna is saying Shraddha means faith. This faith means what? Faith in the process. Many times people give up. They want the end result, but they don't want to follow the process. Every student, he thinks that, okay, I should get 90%. Everybody who is doing business, okay, by the end of the year, he thinks that this is my goal and I should achieve at least 10 lakhs in my business. They want the result, they desire for the result, but they do not have the faith in the process. So that is the problem. Many times in Bhagavad Gita, in the spiritual life also, many people want, oh, I want to go to the spiritual world, I want to get moksha, but you don't have faith. You don't have the basic faith. So Krishna is saying you should have faith in the process. So faith in the process, but also faith in the spiritual master. In the verse number 34, we understood that how Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. If you want to get this transcendental knowledge, tat knowledge, you have to go to a tattvavit. And only when you go to a tattvavit who has realized this knowledge, that is when you acquire this transcendental knowledge. So we should also have faith in the words of the spiritual master, along with the faith in the scriptures. There was this very interesting story in the Mahabharata, it comes. So this is the story between Dhaumya Rishi and one of his disciple called Uttanka. So Dhaumya Rishi is a very exalted personality, and unlike the modern education system where they charge you so much of fees and lakhs of rupees you pay and then you go, and actually they don't care. The teachers don't care. I have explained and mentioned this earlier also. They are just worried about their salary. They teach whatever is being given to them, and that's all. There is no connection. There is no personal bond between the teacher and the student. But here, Dhaumya Rishi, when this Uttanka, out of his eagerness, he came to study. So this Dhaumya Rishi told this Uttanka that I will teach you, but before I actually start my teaching, I have some service for you. And that is when he told that you take all these cows and you herd these cows and come back every day, and then let's see how well you can do this job. So he used to go out, Uttanka used to go out with these cows and he used to herd and all those things. And he also used to beg alms from houses. Actually, in the olden days in Gurukula, actually you cannot go and beg alms from multiple houses. You just maximum 8. I think that was what the latest I have read and heard. You cannot go and beg alms more than 8 houses. So a student, when he goes and begs alms for his spiritual master, he has to beg only from 8 houses, not beyond that. Actually, they don't even go till 8 houses, just 1 or 2 houses maximum. So this Uttanka used to go and collect some alms, and mind you, these students, they cannot eat it. They have to go and keep everything in front of the guru, spiritual master, and the spiritual master, if he decides, okay, he calls the student, come and have food, then they will have. If the spiritual master doesn't call, then they will just remain hungry. That is how it was. So he used to come, and then Dhaumi Rishi was thinking, oh, this fellow has gone all the way. How did he manage himself? Didn't he feel hungry? Then he said, what did you eat? Then the Uttanka was very prompt, and he said that I was hungry, and whatever alms I had collected from this house, I ate a little bit, and that is how I managed. Dhaumi Rishi said, no, that's not the right thing. You cannot eat before offering it to me. So he said, all right, I will not do that. Tomorrow I'll come and give it everything to you, and then I will have it. Then next day, this Uttanka again went and he collected alms, and then this was going on. And he gave everything to this Dhaumi Rishi, whatever he collected. But Dhaumi Rishi was thinking, how is this fellow able to manage all throughout, the whole day he's hungry? Is he not feeling hungry? Then he asked again, so how are you managing yourself? Don't you feel hungry? He said, no, actually, see, I'm getting all these alms and I'm giving it to you, but I'm going to another house and I'm collecting alms. So partially I give it to you, partially I'm eating. So Dhaumi Rishi was angry again. He said, you can't do that. You cannot go, because if all the students, they start going to multiple houses, even the person who has to give charity, it will be too much for him. How much can the grahasthas give? Because they also have to manage their families, right? So this is not the right thing. So this Uttanka said, all right. And days passed by, and still he was able to manage. And then Dhaumi Rishi asked again, how are you able to manage yourself? He said, see, whatever you ask me, I'm collecting and giving it to you. So these cows, they give a lot of milk. So I'm taking some of the milk from the cows and I'm drinking from them, and I'm able to manage them. So Dhaumi Rishi said, no, that is not good. That milk is actually used for yajna, and we have to prepare ghee and so many other things. How can you drink that milk? It is not good. Now you see, there was so much test that was happening to Uttanka, but he said, all right. Then again, I'll not drink the milk. Then next day and few more days passed by, Dhaumi Rishi again asked, how are you able to manage? Then he said, actually, my dear master, I'm not drinking the milk from the cows directly now. But you see, these calves, small calves, they are drinking the milk from the cows, and the froth that comes out of their mouth, I drink the froth, that milk, that froth that comes, I'm drinking that, and I'm able to manage myself. Now, Dhaumi Rishi said, that is not good. See, when you do that, you're drinking from the calf's mouth, the froth, that milky froth that is coming up. The calves, because they are also very compassionate, they see that you are hungry and you are drinking that, so they will not drink enough milk from the mother, and they start giving it to you. So that is not, you are actually snatching it from them. So he said, all right, Uttanka. Uttanka said, okay, I'm okay with it, I'll not do anything. Just imagine, in all these different situations, he did not feel that, he did not think that my spiritual master is so cruel to me, he's not feeding me, nothing of that sort. Any instruction that was coming, he was just simply following. And one day it so happened that he had gone to herd the cows, and then he didn't return back to the Gurukula. Now Dhaumi Rishi was concerned. Dhaumi Rishi thought, oh, my disciple has gone, he's not come, and it's already dawn, the sun is about to set. And he was very anxious. He was thinking, what if he was hungry and he must have fallen unconscious somewhere. So he started calling out, Uttanka, Uttanka. But what had happened was, this fellow, Uttanka, because he was feeling so hungry, he cannot drink the milk, he cannot take the milk from the calf's mouth also. He ate some leaves which were poisonous because he was so hungry. And because he ate those leaves, these poisonous leaves, his eyesight went off. He became kind of a blind. And then in that darkness, he fell into a well, the unfenced well. He fell into that, and he was in sorrow, and he was trying to call out his spiritual master, and the spiritual master is finding him out, calling out his name, and then very feeble sound he could listen, this Dhaumya Rishi, and he understood, oh, this is where my disciple is. He started following that sound, and then he found this disciple Uttanka in that ditch, in that well. And then he said that this is what happened. I was hungry and I ate this poisonous leaves and I fell into this. So please help me. So Dhaumya Rishi was full of compassion, and then he said, my dear Uttanka, I'm really very pleased with you. And I give you this mantra of Ashwini Kumaras. You please pray to them. And who are these Ashwini Kumaras? They are actually the doctors of the Devatas. So they were, the mantra was given, and Uttanka started praying, chanting these mantras for Ashwini Kumaras, and Ashwini Kumaras were so pleased. They came and they helped him out, and they gave him the eyesight, and he was pulled out. And then Dhaumya Rishi was very, very happy and said, I am completely happy with all the seva that you have done to me, and you have intense faith in me. And because you have intense faith in me, I bless you that you get all the knowledge. And mind you, that knowledge, the Vedic knowledge, is not so ordinary. It takes about 8-10 years to acquire so much of knowledge. And just by the blessings of Dhaumya Rishi, he could get immediately, just when Dhaumya Rishi kept his hand on Uttanka, all the spiritual Vedic knowledge entered his consciousness. So when you have faith in the words of the spiritual master and you serve with that utmost faith, the knowledge will be transferred to you. That Divya Jnana will flow into you. So that is why don't worry so much about the technicalities of Bhagavad Gita. The main thing is, how much faith do you have in the words of Krishna? And that is what really matters. And how much are you trying to implement? That is another very important thing. So that's why I always said, Avishya Rakshabhi Krishna, Avashya Rakshabhi Krishna. Krishna will protect you. In the most dangerous situation, he will protect all of us. Just that we need to have faith. But most of us, we don't have faith. We think that, oh, God may be there, may not be there. He's some imaginary, some energy. He's not a person. No, he's full of feelings. So this is one important thing. So Krishna is saying there, Jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadi gacchati. But before that, tatparaha samitendriyaha. Samyamya means controlling. Indriyaha means senses. When you control the senses, these 5 senses that we have, eyes, ears, nose, ears, and touch, skin, right? All these 5 senses, when you control them with jnana, that is when you will be able to achieve peace. And in the previous sessions also, we have discussed that how when our senses are uncontrolled, when our 5 senses are dragging us in different direction, it is very difficult. I give you the analogy of a chariot, right? The chariot with 5 horses, and just imagine all the horses are running in different directions. What will happen to the chariot? It will just topple and the passenger will collapse. So that is what is happening. We are so uncontrolled. Our senses are so uncontrolled. The eyes are saying, go watch this web series. The ears are saying, okay, go and listen to this particular pop music. And the tongue is saying, no, let me taste this particular Zomato from this restaurant or that restaurant. The tongue is pulling in one direction. Nose is saying, no, I want this fragrance. No, I want only this fragrance. And the skin is saying, it's too hot, it's too cold. I want AC, I want this heaters. So many things. We are constantly busy with fulfilling the demands of these 5 senses. And when these are happening, how can a person be peaceful? You cannot attain peace. And today, it's extremely difficult. Right from the beginning, when, especially in the co-education system, it's difficult to control the senses. Now, we have this educational system where both boys and girls are studying together. Where is the question of sense control? We hear so many cases, right? Teenage pregnancies and many other problems are coming in the society today, all because of uncontrolled senses. Now, when these things are happening, how do you think that we'll be happy? A happy society. When individuals are so unhappy, how can we have a happy family, and how can we have a happy society and a happy nation? So that is why Krishna is addressing the root cause here. Uncontrolled senses. No sammitendriya. So Jnanam ladva param shantin. If you want to attain peace, real peace, when you have peace and happiness with you, you can actually give it to others. If you have only 100 rupees, someone is asking you 1,000 rupees, you cannot give him because you yourself are a pauper. So if you have happiness worth only 100 rupees, how can you give happiness of 1,000 rupees worth to someone else? It's extremely difficult. But if you can somehow control your senses and acquire this knowledge with faith, then achirena gacchati. What will happen? You will be peaceful. You will acquire peace. Achirena gacchati. Very quickly. You will get this knowledge and peace, happiness very quickly, immediately. Just see. So this is how we should understand that we are given this opportunity here that Krishna is saying, please get absorbed in transcendental knowledge. And Sunday, week after week, we are able to do this, absorbing ourselves in the study of the Bhagavad Gita, and gradually the changes, the transformation is taking place. Right? So good. I'm very happy. Achyutanji also mentioned that there is a lot of change happening. I'm really glad and happy that you are able to implement this and taking this very seriously. And you see it for yourself because the taste of the pudding is in eating. When you actually practice this and you get the taste, that is amazing. Because so many things can be told, but unless you taste it, you will never get it. So let's chant the next verse. So I call Uma Kumar. You can unmute yourself. And let's chant the next verse. Very interesting verse. Verse number 40. All right. So, Agnash Agnash Shraddhadanasya Samshayatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti Naparo Na Sukam Samshayatmanaha. Let's do this once again. Agnash Samshayatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti Naparo Na Sukam Samshayatmanaha. Please read the translation by yourself.
But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed scriptures do not attain God consciousness. For the doubting soul there is happiness neither in this world nor in the next.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Hare
So
Krishna.
let's see. If you have faith, well and good. But if you are a faithless person, then what's the problem? The problem is this. Krishna is saying, if you do not have faith in the revealed scriptures, in this Divya Jnana, then first thing is you will not attain the God consciousness. It's not possible. And then for anybody who doubts this particular knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, there is neither happiness in this world nor the next. So that is why there is so much of confusion. Why people are unhappy in spite of having all the material comforts in life is because they do not have faith in these words. And although materially speaking, they are so well off, but they are not happy. They have everything at the beck and call of their demands. Everything is given to them. But still people are unhappy, and that is because they do not have faith in this very wonderful manual of life, Bhagavad Gita. They want to read all these fictitious things. Everybody is so much involved in fiction today, watching fictional movies and reading fictional things. Life itself has become a fiction. There is no reality. So we have to get off this fiction, imaginary world, and we have to come to reality and face happiness and distress in reality. Because many people, there is so much of imaginary things going on, and they are living in a maze, this material world, which is like a maze, and completely in a dream world. Many people, especially sometimes, although there are a lot of positives about these technological things, and we are using this technological thing to discuss reality, but most of the time, the youngsters, they are so absorbed in imaginary things, in this so-called virtual reality that we are talking about. I think in the next 10 years, 20 years, people will not even interact with each other. They will just wear those VR masks, whatever you call them, and they will be so absorbed in those things. watching the virtual reality that they will forget eating food and doing their day-to-day things. And how can a person like that be really happy? So let's come to reality. So what's happening here is, if we don't have faith, we will actually become very virtual. There is no reality then. So let's understand this verse a little bit more clearly. Very nice verse, actually. So Krishna here is talking about three kinds of people. So Krishna here is talking about agnas. So those who are ignorant. And then actually Prabhupada is saying that fools who have no knowledge about the standard scriptures. It is almost like animalistic life. Agnas means people who are almost like animals. Like you see, animals, what do? They only eat, sleep, mate, and defend. Eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So if people, humans also, are only involved in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, then no inquiry about what is the purpose of life, then we are as good as animals. Right? So Agnash. So these are the people who are fools. And then Ashaddadhanascha. So those are the people who do not have faith. They get the knowledge, but they don't have faith in the knowledge. Many people read the Bhagavad Gita end to end, but they do not have faith. Oh, Krishna, how can he show that universal form? Oh, this was spoken 5,000 years back. Who knows whether it was spoken 5,000 years back or 2,500 years back? They don't have faith in the words. So although they study Bhagavad Gita, they gain the knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, but there is no faith. Ashraddhadhanascha. And then the third type of people is samshayatma, always doubting. One is faithless, another is doubting. They don't get the knowledge, they always doubt. Although they have knowledge, they have full faith. Yes, there is something like this, but they doubt sometimes. Samshayatma. They doubt whether, oh, Krishna is speaking the truth or reality. Who knows? Sometimes that kind of a thing will come. So many people quote Bhagavad Gita, but they don't have faith. That is one thing. The third is they doubt. They doubt on the words of Krishna. So, there is an example in Mahabharata again, another very nice story, which talks about this doubting nature. So, in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, when there was this fight, and on the 10th day when Bhishma, he fell on the bed of arrows, the 11th day, the commander-in-chief from the Kaurava side was Dronacharya. And Dronacharya, he is the guru of all the Kauravas and the Pandavas. He became the commander-in-chief. And Dronacharya, he had this benediction that he cannot be killed, but he will give up the weapons. He will give up the weapons and stop fighting when he hears Ashwattama Hataha. Means even if I hear that my son Ashwattama is being killed, then I will give up my weapons. So that was Dronacharya's vow that he had taken. Now, Krishna told Yudhishthira, why don't you go and tell Dronacharya that Ashwattama Hataha, Ashwattama is being killed. Yudhishthira, now he said, how can I do that? How can I tell a lie? And he had a doubt, should I say or not? Krishna is telling me, but is it dharma or adharma? He is Dharmaraj. Yudhishthira is Dharmaraj. Now he was thinking whether this is right or wrong. Are Baba, now Krishna, who is actually the dharma personified, now he's the supreme personality of Godhead. When he is telling that you tell this lie, you should just tell without a doubt. But Yudhishthira was doubting. But at the same time, in one sense, Krishna did not tell him to lie because there was an elephant called Ashwattama. And Bhima had actually ripped apart his head. That elephant's name was also Ashwattama. And because Bhima had ripped apart his head, he had told Krishna to Ashwattama Hataha. And then finally, Yudhishthira goes and tells this, Ashwattama Hataha. And then Dronacharya listens because he had told, even if I just hear, I don't see that Ashwattama is actually killed. Even if I hear, I will give up my astra, everything. And that is when this Drishtadumna, he came and killed. Now, when the war was over and everything was done and Yudhishthira ruled the whole planet, and then it was the time for them, all the Pandavas, to go back to the heavenly planets. All of them went, but Yudhishthira had to visit the hellish planet for a while. Just for this one doubt, because he had a doubt on Krishna's word, he had to go and see the hell for some time. So just imagine, we are learning, we are understanding Bhagavad Gita. We should have complete faith in the words of Bhagavad Gita and Krishna, because this is absolute knowledge. There is nothing which is temporary. Everything that is spoken is truth. There is nothing except truth in the Bhagavad Gita. And this is truth about you. It's all about you. How can you ignore that knowledge which is something has to do with you, which is dealing with you, your life? So this is truth, and you don't have to doubt it. If you doubt it, then on the way to heavenly planets, you also have to visit the hellish planets. So choice is yours. So don't doubt, just have faith, and you will definitely see wonderful things happening in your life. And then actually there is another interesting story I remembered, and I want to share that with all of you. So this is not from Mahabharata, but a few years ago, after the Mahabharata and everything, many eons passed away. And then in the 1st and the 2nd century, there was the rise of Buddhism. All across, especially in Asia, there was a rise in Buddhism. And I had told you that Buddha had come to actually discard Vedas from the society, because in the name of Vedas, there was animal killing that was happening. Oh, the Vedas have told we can kill animals and sacrifice can be done. So there was ruthless killing of animal sacrifice. Now this is a wrong way, and Buddha had to come. Now, actually, if you see this animal killing, this is the worst thing that humans can do. You know what the terrorists do? You have seen the terrorists. What do? The terrorists, they go and kill people ruthlessly without even giving them a proper chance to revolt, right? That is how the terrorists are. They don't fight face to face. They do sudden attacks without giving any notice to the person whom is attacking. Those are the people who are called terrorists. And mind you, and I'll tell you, humans are actually terrorists. We kill so many animals without giving them notice. And lakhs and millions of animals are killed just for the taste of the tongue. Right? Every single day, so many animals are killed. We are the greatest virus in this world, actually. It's not the coronavirus. Coronavirus has killed only few of them, right? But we are such virus on this planet that we are killing millions, much more than the coronavirus can kill. So all because of this uncontrolled mind. Anyway, coming back to this killing, I was just mentioning this because Buddha had to come because of this ruthless killing that was happening. He said, reject Vedas. Because Vedas are the basis which you're talking, animal sacrifice can be done. So he came and rejected. Who is Buddha? Incarnation of Vishnu. But he himself rejected. And then during this time of rise of Buddhism, there was this one very nice devotee who had faith in the Vedas. And his name was Kumarila Bhatt. You can read. This is historical. It's not fiction. It is historical thing. This Kumarila Bhatt, he had a lot of faith in the words of Vedas, and across in the society, he had seen that the Vedic knowledge was declining because of the rise in Buddhism. Buddhists were, they were trying to take away Vedas from the society. They were blaspheming the words of the Vedas. And so, this Kumarila Bhatt, in order to understand the sentiments of the Buddhists, he actually admitted himself into the monastery, the Buddhist monastery. I think that time it was Nalanda University, which was one of the greatest university in the world. So he admitted himself to understand this Buddhist knowledge and what are they actually doing to reject Vedas. And he was studying and understanding all the things, like a spy. He was there in the monastery and understanding everything, details about the Buddhism. And one fine day when he was listening from one of the Buddhist monk, and the Buddhist monk was blaspheming the Vedas left, right, center. And this Kumarila Bhatt, he was listening to this. And this was so painful. He actually had tears in his eyes. While he was listening to all the nuisance that the monk was saying, he had tears because he could not take it. And the tears, when it actually fell on the ground, it actually created some kind of vapors, that steam. Why? By seeing those tears, the monk could understand that these tears are out of grief. Because when you are happy and there are tears of joy, you see they are very cool. But when there is so much of pain in the heart, and when you cry, there are tears in your eyes, they are warm. So just by the tears, when they fell on the ground and they created some kind of a vapors, this monk understood that this Kumarila Bhatt, is actually unable to tolerate the blasphemy of Vedas. He has a lot of love and affection for the Vedas. This has to be rejected. This fellow should be thrown out of the monastery. Kill this fellow. And everybody wanted to attack him. He ordered that this fellow has to be rejected from our monastery. And Kumarila Bhatt, somehow he escaped, and then he climbed the tower in the monastery. And there he declared to everyone, if at all the Vedas were true, actually Vedas, everything that comes in the Vedas is Satyam, everything is truth. But he said, if there is something wrong in the Vedas, I will jump from here and let me die. If the Vedas are untrue, then I will jump from here and I will die. With that statement, he actually jumped from the tower. And as he was falling, there was this sharp thing down there, and it actually pierced his eye. And he lost his eye, but he was safe. He did not die. And then immediately there was an Akashvani. There was this Akashvani which said that, Kumarila Bhatt, actually you said right, that Vedas are truth and whatever is spoken in the Vedas is truth. And that is why you did not die. But you lost an eye because you said, but if they are untrue, you doubted, you had that slight doubt. And that is why you had to lose this eye. So why I mentioned that was because Shamshayatma Vinashyati. So if you doubt the words of the Vedas, you will have to have some sort of reaction. You will get reaction. So don't get any reactions. Have faith in this words of Bhagavad Gita, and you will see amazing things happening in your life. This is not an ordinary knowledge. It's going to transform your life. It will change your life for better. So have that faith. We should not doubt. See, such great staunch devotees like Kumarila Bhatt, even a small little statement, a little doubt can give some reaction. Yudhishthira, such a great devotee, always associating with great saintly people, and Krishna himself, still that doubt was there. It is possible. It is very much possible because we are all fallible. We human beings are fallible. We have the tendency to commit mistakes. But just because we have this tendency to commit mistake, it doesn't mean that we don't have hope. There is so much of hope. There was this great sinner in one of the village. Very, people, everybody rejected him. Nobody wanted to accept him. Any saintly person he used to go, they used to reject him because of all the nefarious activities that he had done. He was a criminal kind of a person, and he was rejected by the society. But because of the rejection, he was disappointed, and he was kind of having that pain and repentance in his heart. He was thinking, how will I become pure? Because nobody was accepting him. Finally, when he was walking, and there he found one sage, a saintly person, and then he explained to him all the different nuisance and nefarious activities that he had done. And just by that kind of repentance, this saintly person realized that now he wants to understand the truth. So when he became repentant and he didn't want to recommit the same mistakes again, that is when this saintly person understood the pure intention of this person and gave him this knowledge. So my dear devotees, all of you, please understand, in the previous session also I had explained that how pavitram iha vidyate, this knowledge can protect you. And also, when you have this attitude of learning, the spiritual master, Pranipata, Pariprashna and Sevaya. When you do this Pranipata, Pariprashna and Sevaya, the spiritual master will reveal this knowledge to you. He will give you this knowledge. You have a sincere heart, it will be revealed to you. So these three things should be adopted in our life: Pranipata, Pariprashna, and Sevaya. Then the knowledge will come to you. And even if you are the greatest sinner, if you are the greatest sinner still, you will be like sarvebhya papakritamaha. In verse number 36, we understood, right? Apichedasi papebhya sarvebhya papakritamaha. Even if you are the greatest of the sinners, all the papa can be eradicated, provided now you become sincere. At this moment, you become sincere and you accept this knowledge, and you will see it will be eradicated. All this, your heart, which is filled with dirt, will be cleansed by Krishna. That is the power of this jnana. Jnanagdi, dagdani, right? Jnanagdi, it will burn, dagda karmani. It will burn your karma. That faith should be there. So, very interesting, very nice. So, na sukham samshayatmaha. And if you doubt, if you are faithless, then what's going to happen? The ultimate result is you will not be happy in this world, neither in the next world you will be happy. So, this is a great opportunity. Great opportunity. Many people have doubts, even in the day-to-day things, mind tricks. There is so much of anxiety, right? When I have seen, especially in Bangalore and metros, when people are running towards their office early morning when they wake up, they know that their cab driver will come at 8 o'clock sharp. But still, when they leave their home and by the time they reach the cab, the particular point, the pickup point, they have anxiety. Even before 8 o'clock, they will be having anxiety. What if I miss? What if I miss? What if I miss my cab? And when they are sitting in the cab, there is another anxiety. What if there is a traffic jam? What if there is a traffic jam? Constantly, there is anxiety. People have anxiety. But instead, if you have this peaceful mind, Krishna is saying, acquire knowledge, you will be peaceful. The mind will not trick you. So most of the time, if you analyze your day-to-day activities, you are actually in anxiety. Anxiety because of the uncontrolled mind. So Krishna is saying that is happening because of your faithlessness in the words of Krishna. So please have faith and become peaceful. So let's chant the next words. Hina Mataji, unmute yourself and let's chant the verse number 41. So we have a very interesting shloka here, verse number 41. I hope it is visible to you, the screen.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. Yoga sanyasta karmanam
Yoga sanyasta karmanam
jnana sanchinna samshayam
jnana sanchayya samsayam
atmavantam na karmani
atmavantam karmani
nibadnanti dhananjaya.
vidadanti dhananjaya.
Wonderful. Very nice, Mataji. Please read the translation by yourself.
But ignorant and faithless persons who doubt the revealed
Okay,
scriptures
just hold on. I'm sorry, actually. I
God
think
consciousness. Sorry.
I'm sorry, actually. I think there was a mistake. I have not copied the verse number 41 here, the translation, by mistake. I
This
will
is
read it by
previous
myself.
one.
But if you have the Bhagavad Gita shloka, then you can read it by yourself. If you have the copy of Bhagavad Gita, please read it from the
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita. Yes.
Yes. One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruits of his actions, and
Yes.
whose doubts have been destroyed by transcendental knowledge, is situated factually in the self. Thus, he is not bound by the reactions of work or conqueror of riches.
Exactly. Very nice. Thank you. Wonderful. So here you see this said yoga sanyasta karmanam. So yoga sanyasta karmanam, karma is used once here, and then there is atmavantam na karmani. So again karma is being used. So in the first line, when it is said yoga sanyasta karmanam, it means that you give up the fruits of action. Many people, they work, but they work because they want to acquire the fruits of their action. The motivation for people to work is the result. If there is no result, then there is no motivation. So Krishna is saying you become free from that motivation. The student is studying because, oh, I'll get 80%, 90%. The person doing business is thinking that, okay, I'll get this result out of this much profit. That's why I'm going to do it. So everybody has the tendency, the motivation to work because of the results. So Krishna is saying, Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam. Take sannyasa from the fruits of action. It's not that you have to give sannyasa to karma. It's not that you should stop working. Many people think that, oh, let me stop working. Anyway, what is the motivation? If I'm not getting the result, if there is no result for my work, why should I actually work? No, 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 no. Duty has to be performed. But what kind of result and how will you get the result is not in your hands. And this I've explained earlier, because to get the result, there are 5 factors of action, right? So actually the result is not in your hands. What you can do is only the chesta, only the endeavor. But the result, there are many, many variables. Only when those variables are satisfied, then you will get it, right? For example, one of the variable is time. Time is the one variable. Now, for a student, it's not that he wrote an exam and immediately he will get the result next day. No, there is time. Then another variable is the character, right? What kind of a mentality that person is having during while he is actually correcting the papers, it matters. So there are many, many variables for the result. And also your own chesta, how much endeavor have you put? So this is one thing. Jnana sanchinna samshayam. So Krishna is saying that, therefore, one who has renounced the fruits of action, whose doubts are destroyed by transcendental knowledge. If you have doubts, then samshayatma, then you will not become peaceful and happy. But if you have jnana without any samshaya, then you have acquired all this because of the transcendental knowledge, then you are not bound by the karma, because every action that you're performing, you are actually becoming free. So what Krishna is saying, Arjuna, here is atmavantam na karmani. You will become free from all the reactions. This karmani means the reaction. In the first line, karmana means action, free from all the fruits of action. But here karmani means you will become free from the reactions of your karma. And that is why, Arjuna, please get up. You have to fight. That is your duty now. You cannot give up your duty. You have to perform your yoga. Nibaddanti dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, you have acquired so much of wealth for your brother Yudhishthira. Oh Dhananjaya, please now perform your duty without doubt. I'm giving you all this transcendental knowledge. See, this is chapter 4. And Krishna has spoken already about the science of the soul. Krishna has spoken about karma. He has now spoken about Divya Jnana in this chapter 4. So many beautiful concepts have been shared. So now Krishna is thinking that, oh, Arjuna must be clear in his mind that yes, now he will get up and he will fight. Right? That is what Krishna is thinking. But all the doubts are gone in Arjuna's mind or not? That we have to understand still. That will be revealed in the next verse. So let's understand the verse number 42. So Dev, you can unmute yourself and let's chant verse number 42.
Yes, Prabhu.
Tasmad jnana sambhutam
Sambhutam
Ritstam jnanasinatmanah
Ristam jnanasinatmanah
Vainam samshayam yogam
Chitvainam samsayam yogam
Atishtotishtha bharata.
Atishotishta
Bharata.
Wonderful. Let's do this once again. Tasmad jnana sambhutam
Tasmad
Sambhutam
Ritstam jnanisanatmanah
Ritsam jnanasinatmanah
Chitvainam samshayam yogam
Chitvainam samsayam yogam
Atishtotishtha bharata.
Atishotishta
Bharata.
Great. Wonderful. Please read the translation by yourself.
Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here you see, this is very interesting. Tasmad ajnana sambhutam. So without any doubts in your heart, oh dear Arjuna, chitvainam samshayam yogam. Chitvainam means you slash all these doubts. How should you slash? By the weapon of knowledge, the sword of knowledge. So, actually, when you read the Bhagavad Gita, this manual of life, all the different doubts that you have in life, oh, should I do this? Should I not do this? All these doubts, right, wrong, what is right, what is wrong, it will be clear to you because you will take this sword of knowledge and cut off all the doubts. It's very nice. Chitvainam samshayam yogam. So, Krishna is saying, you have to be armed with yoga. Now, when the warrior is there, he actually has this armor, right? When he's fighting. So you should also have this armor of yoga. And this armor of yoga will protect you, oh Arjuna. Because when you are acting with this knowledge of yoga, this jnana yoga, then you will not be bound by all the reactions. You may kill a lot of people, but this is dharma yuddha. So although you may kill a lot of people, you will not get reaction because you are doing it for my pleasure. So see, so he's saying Atishta Tishta Bharata. In the first chapter, what happened? Arjuna, he was shivering, his Gandiva was slipping from his hand, and his bodily heat was increasing. There were romanchana that was happening, you know. So with that fear, what happened to Arjuna? He actually sat down on the chariot because of that fear of killing all his relatives and his spiritual master. But now, Krishna is saying, Atishta Tishta Bharata, wake up, you get up from the chariot now, and then fight. How do you fight? Have this armor of your yoga and then fight. And cut off all the doubts in your mind. Now, this is what Krishna is saying. Now, what Krishna has said that in the previous Yoga Sanyasta Karmanam, you are telling that I should become actually free from all the fruitive results. And here now again you are saying that you should actually fight. So the doubts of Arjuna have not ended. If Arjuna was very clear, then probably there would not be the upcoming chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. But Arjuna has doubts. And those doubts is not that Arjuna has, but on behalf of all of us, Arjuna is asking. So that we, fallen souls like us, we can be clear. So all the questions that Arjuna has asked in the Bhagavad Gita are for our benefit. He is not an ignorant person. Arjuna is a very intelligent person. But he is asking on our behalf so that we become clear. So that is why it will get extended till the 18th chapter. So Arjuna is still not clear. So the doubts are not clear. Doubts will be clarified by Krishna in the upcoming verses, in the upcoming chapters. So this is what we had to share in this particular chapter 4. So with this verse number 42, we have completed chapter 4. So just see, in the last 1 year or maybe a little more, we have covered chapter 4 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, and I hope a lot of things has been assimilated by you. And just to test a little bit, we will just understand from all of you about some practical things that you wanted to implement from chapter 4, right? So this will be a very nice discussion, and I'm sure you'll also have some questions while we are discussing this. So you can ask your questions in the comment section. My dear listeners on the YouTube, you can also feel free to ask your questions. You leave your questions in the comment section. Now, I had given an activity for all of you. And that activity was, in chapter 4, you choose any shlokas which you think is practical for you. Those shlokas which you think that you can implement in your life, right? So, who wants to go first? Who wants to go first?
Me
I
I have
will
guys,
do
not
it.
said. Okay, great. So I see some leadership quality coming here from Hina Mataji. That's the way, Mataji, you're setting a precedent now. Wonderful, very good. So let's add to the stream. And yes, Mataji, you can speak and you can share all that you want to share. So let's see what Hina Mataji has to share about the practical things. Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Okay, Prabhuji, actually, when I read the shlokas, it is that rather than implementation, I felt that this resonated with what I understand till now.
Great.
Okay, so this
Yes.
is something which I feel it appealed to me, and I felt I can apply this to some extent, because most of
Okay.
the other shlokas which were mentioning, saying that how the sages were being able to be akarmic and to
Yes.
let the fruits of their actions go, into the fire, not be bothered by it, or be completely um, uninhibited by whatever is happening around them. That is
Yes.
something which I don't think I am able to achieve, and I think I at least have a very very long way to go.
At this point
So
of
whatever,
yes.
yeah, yeah. So for whatever worth I could feel that it is applicable to me to some extent, I will just share the meanings which I have just noted down.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. The first one is the 4.11.
Uh-huh.
The I have just noted down the purports because the shlokas then would take time for me to say.
Correct.
In
Correct.
whatever way people surrender unto me, I reciprocate with them accordingly.
Hmm.
Everyone follows my path knowingly or unknowingly, which is true. So
Yes.
somehow when you had mentioned about the demigods and how they also worship Lord Krishna, so all these years since we are brought up in that environment, I felt that indirectly I was also worshipping Lord Krishna.
Yes.
So that was one thing which immediately struck me. Then the 4.31, in which you said those who know the
So,
secret of
how do you feel now?
sacrifice.
Before we even go to the next verse, it's very nice. So, when you say that, okay, there was demigod worship, and now you feel that although you were worshipping demigods, you felt that yes, it was actually indirectly you were worshipping Krishna. So, that gave you a little bit confidence. So, that whatever you had done previously is not gone waste. But in fact, I think because you had that eagerness to understand absolute truth, the Devatas have actually helped you to come to this understanding about absolute truth, isn't it? So
Yes.
anytime it happens that when you go to even the Devatas and ask them, I want to know the truth of life, but many people don't go to them for acquiring absolute knowledge, but they go for materialistic things. Oh, please fulfill my this desire, that desire. And that's why the Devatas also say, okay, you take this, you take that. But when somebody goes to them to ask for spiritual knowledge, that is when they direct you to the spiritual master who can give you absolute knowledge. Wonderful, very nice. Go ahead, Mataji.
Okay. Uh, Prabhuji, the second one I felt was 4.31, where it
Okay.
says that the secret of sacrifice. So
Yes.
I understood that those who perform no sacrifice find no happiness either in this world or the next. There is
Hmm.
one thing which always I hear it. I may not be actually applying it very well, but
Yes.
whatever that we can achieve is always out of the comfort zone. So this is something which I have heard time and again. So this is also another way of saying that you have to go out of your comfort zone. Enjoying the senses is our comfort zone because we have been trained to do that from childhood. We have
Yes.
never learned to go out of the comfort zone and try to do something by not letting our comforts feel the comfort. So this is something by sacrificing our sense enjoyment. It will take time, but only if you do that, then only we can move ahead in this journey.
Great. So now,
This
since Krishna is saying that we need to sacrifice, so what do you think that you can sacrifice so that you move ahead, you come out of the comfort zone? What is your solution for it? How do you want to come out of your comfort zone?
I am not a very good in time management. So every time when I have to say that I will read this or I will do this, then I am not able to manage it for whatever reasons. So that is something which I'll have to understand. So my comfort in that doing things in my own way, I will have to
Yeah.
actually become more disciplined.
Okay. So you think that you're not able
And
to stretch beyond a certain point.
yes, yes,
Hmm. So
yes.
this is also very interesting. We can have a session on time management itself, avyakta kalatvam. So we can have a very nice session on one of the practical sessions that we are going to have the very first Sundays. So we can one Sunday take up this session on time management, and that will help you. So now comfort zone. Now you should do something practical. And now in this week, what do you think that you can actually give up, or what will you do so that you come out of the comfort zone? Have you thought about anything?
I will I will actually try to make a schedule for myself, which I can include something which I need to do for this spiritual path, and inculcate that this is to be done. This is like has to be done every day
Very
as
nice.
part, compulsory part. So that is something which I can start with.
Yes. So you make a schedule, but just don't keep it to yourself. You can also share that or display that somewhere where it is visible to Dev and Vinodji also, so that there is some healthy pressure. So when you're not doing, they'll put some healthy pressure on you so that you do it.
Okay.
So that will be nice because once you have someone who is also monitoring it, then there is a healthy pressure that you do it. So then what happens with that healthy pressure? That habit will get formed. Because if we just leave it, many times many people set goals. Every new year's, everybody is writing down goals. Goals for this year, goals for this year. But then gradually the mind tricks. The mind will go into the comfort zone back. So if you have someone who can always remind you, no, no, you have to go back, you have to go back. This is the goal that you want to achieve. Then that will be really nice. So if you can share it with either Dev or Vinodji, then they will remind you also. Then that will be nice. But it should be
Yes.
done in a nice way. How they remind you, it should not be hurtful. By the way, Vinod and Devji, it should not be hurtful, right? So it should be done in a nice way. So be very careful when you're reminding Mataji. Without hurting her, you have to remind her. So that's one clause that I have to put. Good. Yes. What's next, Mataji?
Yeah, just two more I have noted is that one is 4.36, in which it resonated that even if we have done the worst of sins, we can
Okay.
cross over the ocean. That is something which appealed to me as a human being. We may have done so many sins in our past lives also. And the
Yes.
last one was 2.37, that as a kindled fire reduces wood to ashes, so does the fire of knowledge burn to ashes all reactions. So basically,
Exactly.
we need to go on this path for learning first and then implementation. So that's something appealed to me. It
Yes.
resonated with my mind.
Absolutely.
Thank
It's
you.
very important. And since you mentioned about the sins of the past life, I have a question. The sins of past life, what is it called technically? I had mentioned this, right? Three types of karma. Do you
Vikarma,
remember?
karma, and karma.
That is another thing. But as last session I had mentioned about a person, individual, the past karma. What is it called? The past karma you mentioned, right? You will be free from all
That
the past karma.
the three types of karma for which we get the fruits in this particular life, and the total karma, right?
Total karma. What is that called?
Sanchit karma.
Yes, that is called Sanchit Karma. And what is allotted to us in this life is called Prarabdha Karma. And day to
Yeah,
day basis, whatever action we are performing and we are getting the reaction for that, that is Agami Karma. Good. So, very nice.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
very nice. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. And who wants to go next?
I could go, Prabhu.
Okay, Dev. Go ahead. So, we have Vinay Baddi here.
Uh,
All right. Dev, go
so
ahead. What is that you want to share?
Prabhuji, first one was where the third verse in the first lecture when we started chapter 4, where Krishna says that this secret knowledge I'm giving you because you are my devotee and my very close friend. So
Okay.
that changed my opinion that how we think of Krishna and how we have to be a devotee and a friend, and how
Hmm.
just the mentally how I think about it as a entire thing that changed when you spoke in this verse, like all the points. Whenever you were speaking, it changed after
How?
that. Yeah.
What are the practical things that you think you can do now?
So after that, actually, I was not able to chant regularly just before that, but when I heard that, I got back on track. That was one thing that I'd done that time. That was, I think, it was the 20th of Feb. So
Okay.
that was
Okay.
long back. And that was one thing I implemented that time. One
Great.
more, one more thing was we had done
How
the
many
verse.
rounds are you chanting now?
Now today, yesterday, and day before, I did 8 rounds with Aradhna Mataji in the morning.
Okay, great.
Japanam.
Very nice. Great. Wonderful. That's very nice. Yes. What's
So
the next verse?
yes, so in the verses 15 to 19, where we had discussed about akarma and about how everything is like akarma, vikarma, and all that. So
Yes.
when we discussed that, you had also again stressed on the part of chanting. So
Yes.
that's what again when I read it today, yesterday, it resonated again, and I started chanting. That's why I started increasing from 6 to 8. I do it with Aradhna Matiji in the morning, which is helpful. So the japathon which she conducts, it
Yes.
helps to complete my rounds in the morning itself. So that's what I've taken to. I want to complete in the morning so that entire day I can, uh, not think about it again. To think about.
Wonderful. So I think you have taken chanting very seriously, and that's an amazing thing because that is one thing that will give you so much of confidence. Because once you start feeding the soul, it gives you immense potency to understand this knowledge also. Great. Wonderful. What's next?
I think today also what you spoke about faith, also
Yes.
I felt a lot about it. Like it resonated with me, but I've not thought about how I'll implement it practically. But it is something that I will just continue doing, like how we do continue doing seva of
Yes.
Laddu Gopal. What we have,
Mm.
I continue chanting and just continue doing the things that I've got into my daily routine and not stop doing those and have faith in the process.
Great. Faith in the process is most important. Once you continue to have this faith in the process, you will definitely see that transformation coming in. So wonderful. That's very nice. Anything more that you want to share there?
uh, Also in the, I think in 20th verse it was where we you had spoken about attachment.
Hmm.
So abandoning attachments is something I have to practice on, because I feel I am, attached to the things, but I think that will come with the process, and
Attached to what? Attached to things or attached to people? What are you attached to?
I think both. And
Okay, so that one attachment is pulling you down. So how do you think that you can get rid of the attachments now?
I think I just thought to myself that I'll keep faith in the process and continue chanting, continue doing seva, and just go on with the process for now.
Exactly, and that's what is going to happen to Arjuna also, right? Because Arjuna also, all that bewilderment was because of the attachment for his relatives and family and friends. So all these attachments were there, and that's why he was confused. But when he starts getting this knowledge, then gradually with the process, those attachments will be slashed. Just like Krishna in the last session said that with the sword of knowledge, you cut out all the doubts. Similarly, this sword of knowledge will also destroy all the unwanted attachments, the material attachments that we have had. And already, I think so many attachments that you had previously before understanding this knowledge must have gone, right? Have you understand? Do you think that there were some attachments in eating? Maybe you wanted to eat certain kind of a food, maybe Maggie or whatever it is, but maybe right now you may have given up some things, right? So certain
Yes.
attachments have already gone.
Yes, Prabhuji, we have totally stopped eating non-veg since we started hearing you. That was long back. So,
Ah,
yeah, that was before we before we started hearing the Bhagavad Gita. We used to eat non-veg, so we stopped that, and it has been a gradual process where we don't realize the change is very significant, but it is happening.
yes, definitely. Step by step, you keep taking it, and every milestone you achieve in spiritual life, it's going to your eternal bank account. That's amazing. So nothing will be lost. So that's very nice that you have given up so many things already. Yes. So anything more that you want to share there?
I think that's it, Prabhuji, for me.
Great, wonderful. Thank you so much, Dave. Very nice, and keep learning more and more. So next, who wants to go? Achutanji, Uma Kumarji.
I am Guruji.
All right, Uma Kumar, go ahead.
Yes. Guruji, verse 24, Guruji. Krishna conscience, we need to observe full Krishna conscience means what I am following is I am chanting regularly 108 times, if possible,
Hmm.
more than 108 times, and doing meditation. I'm controlling my senses. That is the,
Yes.
I personally feel one of the best way to be in Krishna conscious, Guruji.
Yes. What have you done practically, Uma Kumar, to achieve this? Because you said absorbed in Krishna consciousness fully, right? Only when you
Yes.
fully absorb. Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havir, Brahmagno, Brahmat, Brahmana Hutam, Brahmaivatena Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhinaha. Yes. So, what is that you want to do?
Means every day without failing, I'm chanting 108 max. 108 days, 108 times minimum. If possible, more than 108 times, I will sit meditation. I will control my mind. This
Okay.
is the way I am means become fully Krishna conscious. Sometimes, if not possible, also I will again and I will come back to original position. I will sit. Definitely, I have to do. Means that willpower came, Guruji. I have to do.
Good. Yeah. So now gradually, because we are talking about full absorption, Brahmarpanam. So now 108, that one mala will not be sufficient because our spiritual master has told that 16 rounds. So we have to gradually progress towards 16 rounds. So please take up the chanting more seriously and increase the number of rounds. So maybe for this next 1 month, you can chant 2 rounds. And after that, you can make it 4 rounds, then gradually 6 rounds, then keep increasing 2 rounds every month and gradually reach out. And you will see so much of joy. Then Brahmarpanam will happen. Now, otherwise, this is kind of being in comfort zone. Just chanting 108 times is actually you are in a comfort zone. Don't be
Okay,
in
Guruji.
comfort zone because full absorption in Krishna consciousness will come only when you increase, stretch yourself, stretch your body, stretch your mind,
Okay,
and
Guruji.
then you will achieve success. Right? So
Yes.
that's one thing that I would like to suggest. Please stretch yourself. Okay, next.
Next to
Anything?
27, Guruji.
Okay.
If we control all senses, definitely we are going to achieve what you want to be in life, Guruji. Because
Yes.
before I was underconfident, I was not able to speak properly, I was shyness. But doing meditation, being in Krishna consciousness, I realized, see, fear just one illusion that is not actual reality. So
Exactly.
I'm in a position to speak with anybody with confidently, Guruji. That is
Okay.
the thing I observed myself, Guruji. That is I would say tremendous change in my life because
Okay.
that is helping in professional as well personal way also.
Yes. That is true. When you start implementing these process, spiritual process, that confidence will come. You can face anything. Actually, that's one thing. It's not just about the audience. The greatest fear, it is said, that is standing in front of the audience and speaking, right, on the stage.
Yes,
That's one of
Guruji,
the
public
greatest stage.
speaking.
But
Yeah,
now all those things will go because once you know you have the confidence in you, then you can face a big audience, no problem. So,
yes,
but
Guruji.
again, that will happen, that confidence will come when sarva anindriyani karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyanna yogagno juvati jnana deepite. So that deepite, that jnana will ignite and that will lit up in your heart. It's possible when you control your senses. So that is what is happening to you. Please control your senses.
Yes,
You
definitely.
follow this process, and the confidence will come. The jnana will arise automatically. The self-realization will come. Once you know the self, then all the fear will go. Yes, great.
Yes. Next, verse number 34, Guruji. What are the
Okay.
things they told? Verse number 34, Guruji.
Yes.
What are the things we need to learn? We have to learn from spiritual master, Guruji, because before coming your Bhagavad Gita session, I myself learn means by reading Bhagavad Gita, listening so many Bhagavad Gita talks, but it was not possible to realize myself, Guruji. After
Yes.
coming here, I myself realized, see, definitely I can achieve spiritual path in what I want to achieve. That's why I personally and firmly believe spiritual mastery is necessary for everybody, Guruji. Without
Absolutely.
spiritual master, it is not possible to achieve in spirituality, Guruji. That
Exactly. That is
personally I
true.
believe, Guruji.
And it's very important, and you have already taken the first step. So you have to gradually follow this process. And I'm telling you, without Guru, there is no question of achieving Krishna.
Yes,
Because it's only through the Guru, the medium, the transparent via medium, we can achieve Krishna. That is why so much of stress is given here in the Bhagavad Gita. He's talking about parampara. The chapter began with parampara. Parampara means all the great spiritual masters in the parampara. So without spiritual master, there is no question of spiritual life. So very nice. You have taken this very seriously, and gradually, I wish all the best to all of you that you gradually take up this seriously, this process very seriously, and I'm sure Prabhupada will bless all of you. Prabhupada will really be pleased with all the endeavor and all the sacrifices that you're making, and who knows, very soon you'll all become his initiated disciples. Wonderful. Thank you. Very nice.
next to 35 Guru, same Guru 35. Once we committed into spiritual, we should not come again to material world, Guruji.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, yad gnatva na punarmoham, no back, falling back into the illusion. So, very nice. So, once you get this knowledge, That is why I'm telling you, please invest this time, and gradually you will see you will come out of the knowledge. Very
Definitely,
nice.
Guruji.
Come out
Hare
of
Krishna.
illusion. Yes. So
That's it.
Achyutanji, it's your turn. Yes, I will add you to the stream. Just hold on. Yes, Achyutanji, you can speak now.
Yeah. So basically, I'll need a week's time. Actually, I need some more time. By next
All
week, I
right.
should be having some.
Wonderful. No problem. So please go through the verses, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of insights that you can share to everyone, and they will also get inspired. Very nice. Vinodji, what
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah.
Let's ask Vinodji now. Let me add him to the stream. Maybe yes.
Importance of sacrifice, which
Yes.
I think it happened gradually, without really putting much of an effort, by listening to your, every Sunday, and by chanting early morning the mantra. It was happening subconsciously. I didn't have to do much. We left non-veg, and whenever I had some problems, it was getting solved. So I think this happened automatically by the grace of Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, yourself,
Yes.
Prabhuji. So very, very thankful and grateful for being part of this process. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Even I am very glad and always very enthusiastic to meet all of you.
Yeah.
So, yes, what are the verses that you have gone through, and how many rounds are you chanting, by the way?
I'm up to one round now every day, but as you said, now we have to get out of that comfort zone also. But
Okay.
I have up to one round right now. Yes.
So I think you need to make a schedule for yourself also, and then share it
Yes.
with Dev and Hina Mataji. So there is some
Yes.
healthy pressure for all of you. So mutually,
Yes.
when we do it, it becomes
Mm.
very easy.
Absolutely. I will also do that and I'll share it. Yes. I will increase the number of rounds. Yes.
Yes, all of you, please make a schedule for yourself and share it with me, and I will also go through it. And let's see how much healthy pressure I can also put on all of you. Okay.
Love.
So
Yeah.
anything more that you want to share on these verses of chapter 4?
I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Very nice. So, is there anything that you want to ask or any questions that you have with respect to today's session or anything previously, whatever we have
Hey,
discussed in chapter
Guruji.
4? Yes,
Hello.
Umakuma. Yes,
Guruji,
Umakuma.
can you share previous sessions also, Guruji? I have sent 2 or 3 sessions.
Yes, I will share. It will be available. I'm going to edit it and I will share all the sessions so you can
Okay,
listen to
Guruji.
them.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we have completed now the chapter 4 and the chapter 5, which is again a very interesting chapter. It is said, Prabhupada has mentioned it as Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So Arjuna has further questions, and all those questions will be answered by Krishna. So let's make it more practical because Bhagavad Gita is a practical book. It's not some theoretical book. So please go through it. Please understand these concepts and see, come out of your comfort zones, and I'm sure it will help you a lot and realizations will come. Only when you come out of the comfort zone, that is when the realizations will start popping up. And those realizations will increase your faith more and more. So, like you said, Vinodji also mentioned, something is happening automatically. So, this automatic things will happen when you start realizing things, this concepts nicely of the Bhagavad Gita. Many beautiful things will flow in. So, and chanting is essential because unless you feed your soul with these holy names, there is no question of accepting or digesting this knowledge. If you have to digest the knowledge, you have to chant. That's the workout that we need to do every day. But I'm really glad that some of you are joining the Japathon that Aradhana is doing, and Dave is also participating. So that is very nice. Once in a month, that generally we do Japathon. So please participate and every day keep chanting. So that's amazing. So with this, so let's end today's session, and we will again meet next Sunday with a brand new chapter, and that is chapter number 5. And please introduce more people. Also, you can call some more of your friends because we're starting a new chapter. Hopefully, they will be interested and they can also join. And even if they start midway, that is nice. So, all right, then please take care, be safe, and we'll see you again next Sunday. Take care. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Guruji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.